So the Sixers are now 5-1. They're firing on all cylinders, and if I'm being totally honest, the team is flying. I'm not even just talking about them beating the Wizards 146 to 128 because that's irrelevant. The Wizards are not good. But it's how convincingly this team wins. It's how well the offense is flowing. It's how much everyone's buying in defensively. And it's how every time a guy checks in the game, there's not one guy on this roster where I think, oh gosh, he's a liability. Even when Furk is getting minutes, he's doing his thing. That one-hand dime to Joel for the dunk in, I believe, the third or fourth quarter. Korkmaz definitely come alive, and I don't know whether it's just Nick Nurse as a whole, but there's not a single guy in this rotation where I look at and think you're going to be a net negative. Everyone's buying in, and the team looks great. I'm not even just going to dive into the obvious Joel Embiid 48 points. We know what Joel is capable of. We know Joel is just the MVP of this league, and he's a special talent. But it's everyone else, and there's one guy in particular who I think deserves a lot of praise, and it's Tobias Harris. He's been a guy who's been under criticism for some time, and obviously we know about the contract, but this season, Tobias Harris has been absolutely phenomenal. Whatever you need him to do, he's been able to do. And it's not even like he's not taking the same shots he took last season. They're just coming in more of a rhythm pattern, in the sense that Tobias is still getting his post-ups and mismatches, but they're coming in rhythm. We're feeding the hot hand instead of him being forced the ball in the post when he's 0 for 5. You get what I'm trying to say? All of Tobias Harris' buckets are coming in rhythm, and he's been so efficient. He was 6 of 11 last night, 63% on the season from the field. I don't expect that to be that high, but the point is that the type of basketball he's playing, he's been such a competent, I don't want to say third option because I don't really see it that way, but complementary piece to Joel and Tyrese. You couldn't ask or find anything better than what Tobias is giving you right now. And I credit Nick Nurse for that, because the way the offense works, there is no pecking order. There is no force feed the ball to this guy or that guy. It's feed the hot hand and let the offense have like a free-flowing nature to it. If Korkmaz is hot, Korkmaz is having the ball in his hands and he's getting hot. That's the type of offense I like. Well, maybe not to that extent, but you get what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So it enables guys to really find their groove and the rhythm within the game. Obviously, it was nice for D-Melt to have a solid game. He's been struggling this season, but he knocked down a few threes. I believe he had 4 threes in this one. So it's nice to see DeAnthony Melton finally be able to find his stride and get into his groove, because he's a guy who's going to be pivotal for this team, whether you like it or not. So helping D-Melt find his rhythm in this offense is definitely something which is going to be beneficial, because you know what D-Melt is going to give you defensively. Like, he's an absolute animal on that end of the floor. Nick Batum. Wow. He's got a quick trigger, man, and as a whole, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised. I'm not getting carried away over one game, but it's not just him hitting the threes, it's the relocation. We've not had that since JJ Redick, a bit of Ersan Ilyasova, and he didn't really relocate like that. But the way Nick Batum is curling round screens to the corner, quick trigger, hand in his face, bang, curling round the top of the key, quick trigger, bang. It's like, damn, I ain't seen that in a long time over here. At 6'8" as well, competent defender. These are the type of players we've lacked for years. We've always had no wings. Now we have an abundance of wings to the point where guys like KJ Martin can't get a run in. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But Nick Batum's debut was very electric for what we need from him. We need him to have a quick trigger. We need him to be able to relocate for 3. And we need some movement shooting. So Nick Batum showing that this early is definitely a positive sign. And Nick Nurse clearly sees this, because the other guys like Rocco, Marcus Morris, KJ Martin, he's been a bit reluctant to throw them in the game so far. Like, he's really given them like spot minutes here and there, apart from Rocco, who had around 15 minutes against the Suns, which isn't much. But Nick Batum, he's available, bang, he's playing a solid, what was he playing, around 20 minutes this game, 17, and he really gave you solid production. So I see Nick Batum being a key part of this rotation, and more of that, please. Even if you're not hitting, we need that threat from outside to be able to move and relocate. So when Joel's getting doubled, you can go around to the corner with that quick trigger and hit a 3, but that's the kind of spacing we need. You get what I'm trying to say? It was obviously nice to see Rocco coming at the end and hit that 3. Honestly, even if Rocco don't play, it just feels nice having him home, because when I started watching the Sixers, because I started around 2015, that's when I got into basketball, Covington was the guy, man. He was getting all the shots. He was giving you 15 a night on terrible efficiency. But it's nice to see a guy like Rocco come home and just have the ability to kind of give you something, even if it's a 5-10 minute spark. I just love having Rocco on this roster, me personally anyway. I don't know if he's going to be here for much longer, but hey. Where do we go to next? KJ Martin. Okay, that's an interesting one, because You've heard that Nick Nurse was a fan of KJ coming out of the draft in Toronto. He was a big part to why this trade actually happened. So I'm intrigued to see when KJ is going to get minutes. Obviously, you can't force a guy into the rotation now because we're on a roll. So it'll be foolish for you to do that. But I expected KJ to get a bit more run than he's been getting. Again, it's early days. That could change in 10, 20 games down the line. But as a whole, it would just be nice to see KJ Martin get a run in some of these, I won't say meaningless games, but games against the Wizards. It would have been nice, at the end of the game when he tried to poster, was it Anthony Gill or whoever the hell it was, and he got blocked, but that's the kind of energy I like to see. You can see when KJ was on the floor, he was itching to get a touch. He wasn't really getting fed the ball in like garbage time, but hey, that's the kind of energy we need, and I feel like there will be a time where KJ gets his opportunity. It's just down to him to take it. But what I really like about this is that KJ Martin is a legit NBA rotational player, not being able to get minutes. We were in a situation where we were having guys like Anthony Tolliver and who else was on there? What's his name? Paul Millsap having to eat our minutes because our rotation was thin. We have actual genuine rotational level NBA guys like Rocco, Morris, Batum, KJ Martin, who can't really get that much run. And although it would be nice to see some of these guys play, it's a good problem to have because it's the NBA. Injuries may happen. Having guys you can plug in and play and still give you solid production is exactly what you need to be a championship contender. And I'm happy we have this level of depth. Honestly, I'm not angry at this, Obviously, you see rumors about us trading for Zach, OG if they become available. But if I'm being honest, if this team is still looking the way we're looking in 20, 30 games time, I wouldn't be pressed to make an unnecessary move. Maybe you can still improve in certain areas and get another wing who is more of like high level quality and you package two of these guys together. But as a whole, with the way this team is looking, we've not had this level of depth in years. And I like the fact that, when it gets to the playoffs, I know I'm thinking way ahead, and you have a 10-man rotation. If a guy's not pulling his weight, we can plug in Rocco. We can plug in Batum. You get what I'm trying to say? We actually have options for once. And options who fit this team. Floor spacing wings, who are switchable on defense, can move. It's actually a nice sight to see. I honestly love it, if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, I like the situation this team has been in. And I can't believe I've got nearly 8 minutes into this video without talking about Tyrese Maxey. I feel I haven't done it because everything I say, you guys already know. The leaps this guy keeps taking is just ridiculous. Like, he had 22 points, which for Maxey it's a decent game scoring the ball. But it's the 11 assists with 0 turnovers. Maxey's second in the NBA on assist to turnover ratio at 6.6, only behind CP3. This was a guy a year ago which we questioned if he can be a primary ball handler and thought his playmaking and facilitating ability was below average. He's now looking like a high-level NBA point guard in one off-season. It's not just opportunity, because last year when James was out, when he had the ball in his hands, it still looked a bit iffy and shaky. But this off-season, the work he put in with Drew Hanlon, Nick Nurse making an emphasis on him being more competent in the pick and roll, making a skip pass, making the right decision, having the freedom to do what he needs to do as a point guard, as a scorer. It's giving him the freedom to kind of excel, express himself, and be the player we know he can be, and more. Like, this is just, I couldn't expect anything of this nature from Tyrese Maxey, and the more he continues to grow, I don't know what his ceiling is. Like Paul Reed said in the interview, you can't put a ceiling on Tyrese Maxey because you said he couldn't shoot. Well, he's one of the best shooters in the NBA now. He couldn't pass. Well, he's looking like an above average NBA playmaker right now. Could become elite one day, who knows? So you can't put a cap on this guy, and the way this team is looking right now, we lost the trade, we stink, we this, we that, from the outside looking in. Yet we're 5-1. And I know it's early days and we've not played, the Lakers, the Nuggets in particular, but we've still played competent NBA teams and won these games convincingly. So if I'm being honest, the sky is definitely the limit for this team, and I'm so happy with what I've seen so far. Obviously, we've got Boston on Wednesday, which is going to be our biggest test of the season. But I'm not too bothered by it because we're home at the Wells Fargo Center. And as a whole, with the way this team is looking, bring it on. I want to see how we play against competition, or serious NBA level competition like contenders. See what Nick Nurse's rotation is going to look like, and see how we play under a more polished team. You get what I'm trying to say. But as a whole, I've been so pleased with what I've seen. Batum had a very nice debut, and as a whole, the team is clicking. Oubre, who's giving you 20 a night, he had more of a silent game, but he was still so impactful. And it doesn't matter because Oubre might have been off, but D-Melt was on. Nick Batum was hitting. Joel had nearly 50. So that's the kind of thing I like with this team. Guys are having off nights, but still having a positive impact. Well, off night shooting the ball, but still having a positive impact in terms of hustle and defense. Even though there wasn't much played in this game, Kelly Oubre was still hustling on the offensive glass at times too. Pat Bev, not scoring the ball too much, but he comes in the game off the bench and brings you the next level of energy. That and one from Pat Bev had me going, in my flipping living room, because why not, bro? Like, the energy he brings to the game kind of just makes me energetic too. Even though it was a blowout win, why am I still watching? Why am I still caring? But I just like the way this team is. Pat Bev brings the next level of energy. Rocco having, 3 steals on the block in this game. I just love everything the bench players are bringing in their limited minutes. They're still having a positive impact on this team. But that's all I got for this video today. I rambled a lot. I can do that when it comes to this team because honestly, I'm enjoying what I'm watching and I'm sure you guys are too. But as a whole, let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or disagree with any of the points I made, whether you're optimistic for the season or not, and the type of content you want to see next in the future. But thank you guys so much for listening. Stay blessed, my people. Until the next one, I'm out. Peace.